Snakewood Nip Hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
It's crazy how everybody got something to say about everything. T.I., Tip, Clifford Harris breaking his neck to come to the defense of Lil Wayne's daughter based upon a certain class of bloodline in relation to the industry. And he includes his children in that bloodline. Somehow Marquis Jackson doesn't make the cut. Tried my hardest not to even speak on it, just based on, everybody think I'm gonna have a biased opinion based upon the apparent dynamic between Marquise's father and myself. However, as I watch the whole internet continuously respond, react, and project so much judgment upon Marquise, and I look how innocent, unworldly, unlived his face and his expressions are as he tries to combat the onslaught of comments that seemingly just seem to be continuously, consistently, constantly coming against him. I just think about the typical bully persona, image, reputation his father possesses, and think of all the people who we've seen succumb, fold under the pressure of being confronted with the intimidation that is a Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. We've seen grown men, not really want to deal with the intimidation that actually is presented to one when they have a conflict with Curtis Jackson. And I just look at Marquise, shout out nephew, I see what you're going through. I have never seen a child be canceled. We got cancel culture. And there's so many controversial issues that come up from time to time associated with the culture. And, you hear the word cancel and it never quite goes through. It seems like you never have a unanimous or even a majority vote or decision on most issues one way or the other. It always seems like a big gray area, 50-50, split in the middle, divided. Everybody thinks for themselves. However, when it comes to Marquise, it seems like almost unanimously everyone has the same reaction when it comes to the general practical concept of 6,700, which we all as adults understand how much 6,700 can do for someone in the midst of a struggle. Now look at Marquise trying to give his perspective and speak. He's smiling. There's no malice or any type of menacing demeanor in his face. And he's trying to speak on what he knows from a very knowledgeable perspective and position as far as experience. And I definitely can relate to everything he says, even if the more practical real life side can provide a little more focus and insight of what could have or should have been done. Everybody seems like in unison seems to act like they don't have no idea where he's coming from. When you think about his father's peers, those of the Jay-Z's, the Diddy's, even the Kardashians, even T.I., affluent people that we've watched their children grow up right before our eyes. I find it highly ironic that the $100 million man has an issue with his firstborn son that boils down to something that even sounds like $6,700. Regardless of any of that, there are none of his counterparts or peers that have any type of mirrored experience. I think it says a lot about the father, the leader. It has nothing to do with anything, any other relationships he's had in the public. It has nothing to do with my personal relationship. I really would like to appeal to Cuz, from Curtis to Curtis. You never speak to me or what you have going on again, bro. Your legacy, dude, look just like you. The issue that you attempt to make seem so deep to the world is very, very petty. If you can find your way squashing it with like Fat Joe and all the disrespectful things he said to you, just think about it. You were irritated, upset with Tony Yayo to the point that one day you snuck up on him in your overalls, coveralls, and slammed him into the bushes because you felt like he betrayed you. Loyalty. It's a dude you grew up with, been through the thuggerism with, you did a lot for, and one day he was hanging with Mayweather, and you didn't appreciate that he wasn't answering your phone call, so you feel like you need to sneak up on him, discipline him for his lack of loyalty. Marquise ain't never did nothing like that. If I'm correct, you and Mayweather done patched up whatever y'all differences was. I applaud that. That's commendable. However, he ain't never disrespect you and talk about you had bumps on your privates and stuff like Mayweather did. Marquise ain't did you like that. It seems like the evidence really points to the fact like it really might be an emotional soreness that you may have on another reason. I got 3 sons that I didn't have when I met you. You dig it, lies? They're 16, 14, 16, 15, and 15. I got 3 daughters. One will be 11 next month. They're 19 and 22. I'm not with none of their mothers. There's 4 mothers. The interaction, dynamic with the mothers, relationships have been up, down, left, and right, in, out, off, on. My relationship with my children have nothing to do with my relationship with their parent. I remember, or I can recall a time when Michael Jordan's son made the headlines for being in the casino in Vegas. And I think the headline said something like he went in there and lost like $50,000 like within less than 20 minutes. And as shocking and as amazing and ironic as that sounds, that wasn't the real major punchline of the headline. The real major punchline of the headline was Michael Jordan's son was too young to even be in the casino gambling. I think he was like 19. That was the actual controversy. I couldn't imagine Magic Johnson, Mark Cuban, even Dwayne Wade, Dr. Phil, having a discussion where the whole world is looking down upon their child based upon $6,700 in any perspective or increment. I mean, that's you, bro. Marquise is you, cuz. I wish I would. Oh, Baba. It seems like in his explanation as to why he has this lack of communication or affection for his son, he always reflects on the way he was raised. And I just feel like it's a degenerate mind frame to think that if you were raised within a certain sense of a struggle, and then you have offspring, and you're dedicated to cause them to relive or realize some similitude of the struggle that you went through, even though you have greatly graduated and expand your financial capabilities beyond them experiencing that. I just feel like that's a weird mind state. And it's just crazy that cuz got the bully reputation and everybody, all the media outlets, choke no joke, need to be shamed for even baiting a young nigga out there like that and having this conversation out there and having all this conversation and commentary since then, shining this unfavorable light on a young kid who grew up the only son for a long time of the biggest rapper in the world. Just with that much being said, imagine all the things that come along with that, all the things you have to tend to try to put into perspective gamble. And then everybody's accusing him for being a victim of his mother's programming or whatever. So even put that in place. Now here he is, a young man on the internet, obviously broke down, hurt, sore, crying, bleeding from inside because his daddy ain't his daddy. And all you grown, groupie, nut-hugging motherfuckers is agreeing with the fact that he's in the position he's in because he wasn't mature enough, grown enough, old enough, wise enough to understand that whatever y'all say, he should have understood. Fuck all that. So what? That's your nigga. You supposed to grab cuz you see right now, he want to get an understanding. He don't care. He just want to be around his daddy, be with his daddy, patch it up. He not finna argue. But you can't shut that man heart down from what he understand what he went through. I know Marquise, cuz. Digger lies. On my mama. When I look at him, I see my sons in a lot of ways. I'm just keeping the Google, facts over feelings. And I ain't gonna go too deep into it from there. I got a lot of other thoughts on it, but I'm just saying, man, the whole internet is against the young nigga. That's crazy. What did the young nigga do wrong? Even if he was manipulated or swayed by his mother, the parent that he was more familiar with around the most, if there was something going on or between mom and dad and pops had to fall back, it's obvious apparent that's over with now. Keep it a Google, cuz. Go get your baby. Hug on cuz, love on cuz. Because if you think that character-wise you can exemplify any type of integrity outside of showing some effort at this point and some humility and willingness to mend that and bond that with your seed, it's like nothing else that you do, no matter how benevolent it may appear, can be considered as actual charity or genuine expression of love. Do y'all see it like I see it? Like, to all the cats that 50 has attempted to compare himself to through the years, the people that he has worked so hard to establish himself as on the same type of plateau, that this is totally contrary to the conduct of those type of individuals. Wouldn't just your natural sense of self-preservation realize that this is going to the sense of embarrassment? People have the nerve, the gall to throw around the word entitlement. You had me in videos, speaking from perspective of Marquise, when you was dissing Ja Rule, putting his jury on my neck. I was a kid. I grew up amongst a totally unorthodox sense of fatherhood, up under all love for us and more and all that back and forth. And now that whatever that has caused us to be, suffering right now as dysfunction, as a leader, you don't have the inner sense of responsibility, direction, and control to get it right with your son. There's no more legal ramifications. Even if he was misguided when his mama was in his ear and you was too busy going to get the bag and you couldn't really apply yourself to, expose the game and the world to him from a perspective where he didn't take sides, but it seemed like he was considered as an op so young. It seems so unfair. And I'm not even speaking this from a person that looks at headlines and speaks on the headlines. I'm speaking on the behalf of a nigga that got love for Marquise, because I knew him just like all the other niggas I ever fucked with out here and had a couple years to be around their children, and that's the bond I developed with them. So I just got Marquise interests at heart, and it's a real awkward dynamic to have someone's child best interests at heart and at mind when it comes to a public issue, and you speaking up on behalf of them would cause a potential or certain clash with the parent, and there's nothing the parent can actually articulate or verbalize that the child did to violate them, versus some of the things we've seen them go through with grown men that are not their seed, that they've been able to squash and tolerate and get beyond. And when you are the leader of anything, the creator, whether it's a label or a young man, and failure in regards to you becoming a successful leader, maintaining success and sustaining it over an extended amount of time, when the blame and cause is always placed on someone else, who's the fool? Is it the audience? Y'all finna sit here and look at Marquise, this young boy that was, look what Britney Spears went through, Todd Bridges, even, what's the dude name that played in, I know his name is on the tip of my tongue. He had the curl. He played in, he out right now. He doing Bond. So many people who, they actually have a word for it that comes up in the legal court. I think it's called influenza. It's people who suffer from growing up with entitlement. They throw the word around entitlement when it comes to Marquise. I just think about how disgusting and unacceptable it is to drink out of someone's container in their refrigerator. And I think about the entitlement I feel even as an adult right now when I walk in either of my parents' home. No matter how long it's been since I've been there, no matter if nobody else in the world feels comfortable to do it, I feel entitled to go drink off the containers. Guess what? All my kids come in my house, they drink off the containers. My children, they got Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub, all that attached accounts of mine, and they push the trigger when they feel like it. Entitlement, if ain't nobody entitled to anything and everything at all times at any times, your firstborn is. The violation does not quantify or equate to the separation or the punishment. Sound like some dick and pussy shit to me on my mama.
Snake Wood Net Hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
Point blank, through no subliminal dissing. When I listen, I can tell you never been on no mission. Sticking to the script, don't care if I offend you. Neighborhood crib, the marathon
I overlook my competition, never seeing them. I done trained my mind that I'm going. You could tell by how I walk, talk, I'm a boss. A east side millionaire, homie, what you thought? My life is a movie. They can't get close to me. They mad cause they can't be. I'm everything that they wanna be, yeah.
Black Box Productions.